I'm here with NumberOk, Tim Wilson, and Sergey. Tim is project manager for NumberOk, based in Prague, originally from Alabama, likes the Texas Longhorns for some unknown reason. Sergey is based in Kiev, Ukraine right now, and he's the product owner for NumberOk and the technical know-how. He's been with the company for 8 years, knows everything about the product. So we're going to go a little bit, talk about FF Group and NumberOk license plate recognizer. And Tim, you're going to kick us off again.
Yep. All right. So, okay, great. I'll kick us off. Hi. All right. Yeah, like was just mentioned, thanks for the introduction. And I'll talk a little bit about the history of the company and a little bit about the product that we're offering, NumberOk. And then I'll hand it over to Sergey, who'll talk a lot more about the technical side of things. So, all right, FF Group, we can get right here. Yeah, FF Group, we started 16 years ago in the security business. About 11 years ago, created our LPR application, started working with the LPR technology for IP cameras, and about 6 years ago, started integrating the edge algorithm that works on these IP cameras. And we work with major companies like Optix, Axis, and Hanwha, and any other camera supported on the Xena open platform. And our product we want to talk about today is going to be NumberOk, and I'll get to that. But first, I'll talk a little bit about where we're headed as a company. So if we could take a look at the next slide. So let's go to the next one. Yeah, so this is where things stand now for our software. We're in Europe. We have several regions that we already cover with LPR. We're in Europe in the CIS states, Turkey, Israel, Palestine. We also cover Australia, New Zealand, South Africa. It's a separate region. And we have LPR in the US, all 50 states, Canada, and Mexico. We have LPR in the Asian Pacific region with Hong Kong, Indonesia, Taiwan, and Vietnam. And in the Gulf Coast countries, we've got the UAE, Saudi Arabia, Bahrain, Kuwait, Oman, and Qatar. Coming up this year, by the end of the first quarter, we should have model, make, and color recognition technology available in the US market. And by the middle of the year in South America, we should expand our LPR system. And also in the EU, we'll have MMCR. And by the end of the year, we want to expand to Japan, and we want to have some products, some other products developed that were hopefully fully developed by then. One is object detection, so we can, for example, see vehicles with no plate or recognize container codes for shipping containers. And also have emergency vehicle recognition, so we can check ambulances, police cars, state-owned vehicles, things like that. Okay, yeah, next slide, Sergey. And so now I'm going to tell you a little bit about the NumberOk product that we work on today. So we have free flow license plate recognition technology with a high accuracy rate of 95%. It covers 4 lanes up to 150 miles per hour. NumberOk works with any IP camera. We can run on any virtual machine. It's easy to deploy. It has a digital license with a digital license key, and it has built-in business logic for access control, parking, and traffic rule control. And so we also offer a full-featured demo of that if anyone's interested to take a look at all the features that NumberOk offers. Okay, next slide. All right, and here's just a look, an overview of our model ranges. The basic 3 packages that we have are the Lite, which is the LPR that can be integrated with the third-party software. We have SMB, which is the small medium business package. It's got built-in access and parking control. And then up from that, we have Enterprise, which has built-in traffic rules control. So you can control red light access, for example, bus lane control, lane departure. Cameras can recognize and has built-in rules for dealing with those issues. If you want remote access, we have what we call Reporter, which is allows for distant client access using, say, for example, Windows Distant Desktop. And we have the product that we're calling right now Meta, which is for data management from any ANPR cameras and connect up to 64 ANPR cameras and manage all of the data that you can accumulate using all of that. So with that said, oh, go ahead.
Just wanted to jump in here because the first time we went through this, whenever we didn't hit the start broadcast mode, we talked about like the difference between like light SMB and enterprise. They make a lot of sense considering like, if you have a smaller company, you only need it for a couple things. Light having LPR recognition and integration to third party makes sense. SMB, obviously, you get a bigger company, you need to have parking mode, and enterprise, if you don't have a traffic system control, you don't really need it, right? So it makes sense. And then we talked about Reporter really being just a client interface for connecting to and then reporting on data that's being collected by NumberOk, right? And then the final piece was Meta. We had a good discussion about the fact that these guys chose the Meta name based off the fact that they're generating data, and this was 4 years ago, same time as NumberOk Optix. So we're the trendsetters, us and NumberOk, and then we have these big companies following us like Facebook, right? So just wanted to make sure we went over that again because it was a good conversation. The other one was on the previous slide. I just wanted to highlight a couple things that we talked about. One was testing up to 150 miles an hour on the 4 lanes. Sergey said, yeah, they tested this in an abandoned airport, an old airport, right? And so it was a lot of fun. The other questions I had was, is it CPU based? Since it runs on IP cameras, obviously it's got to be CPU based. And Sergey confirmed that it's a CPU based thing, and then it runs in any virtual environment, whether it's Docker, or VMware, or VirtualBox, or any of the kind of usual suspects out there. So just wanted to make sure we hit those points that we covered last time. Go ahead and move forward again. Oh, Sergey, did you want to add something?
Yeah, and once that I want to add that we support only Windows.
Oh, that's right. Only Windows clients, not the Reporter, or is it all clients? So you guys said
all versions of NumberOk running on Windows only.
Windows only. So no Ubuntu, no Mac unless you're running like a virtual, or what is it called, the dual installer, whatever they have on Mac, where you can flip into one or the other. So Windows only. Yeah. Awesome.
Yep. Okay. All right. Great. Yeah. Thanks a lot for going back and clearing all that up. And well, with having said all that, now I'll turn the presentation over to Sergey, and he'll go into some more technical detail about how to configure NumberOk and what some of the things it can do on the technical side. So, all right, take it away, Sergey. Thanks.
Yep, thank you, Timothy. I prepared few slides with screenshots from NumberOk. And let's start from the beginning, from the settings in NumberOk. So NumberOk works with any IP camera, and you have possibility to connect this camera via RTSP string. Additional possibility you could see here, so camera or DVR. Yeah, historically we support some Hikvision DVRs. We could get video streams from there, and through this menu you could connect some specific camera models. For example, Optix have its own MXPAC protocol, and we support it, and you could connect this camera through this menu. Additional feature in NumberOk, you could put recorded video file to NumberOk, so using this file string to choose it, and you could play video stream, and NumberOk will recognize all license plate on this video. So it could be useful for some POC, proof of concept, or just to check if your camera will support all the requirements for the license plate recognition.
For that file, I think we this is where we were like at in the presentation when we realized that the broadcast didn't properly start. For that file, my question is, if I upload like an hour of video, right, and I'm looking for like a specific license plate. Let's say like I know that like a child was kidnapped in a city, right, and I'm like the police force, and I know that the child. Like where they were, there was only a couple bridges that they could go across, right? So I upload like an hour of video where the window would be from a bridge. Like how long does it take to process that hour?
1 hour.
It's 1-to-1. So there's not there's no way of, but theoretically, okay. Question.
Honestly, yeah, this is a hidden possibility at NumberOk. You do not have any options in user interface how to adjust playback speed or something like this.
Frame. Yeah. Okay. This is my question. What if I took, so in NX we have this thing called rapid review. Okay. We can take an hour and turn it into like whatever you want. Like we just reduce the number of frames, right? And we use the keyframes. So if we took like a rapid review video and we took an hour and we just basically cut the frames in a quarter, so we made it 15 minutes, then you would still analyze each individual frame of that video, right?
Yep, we just changed playback speed. Sorry.
So assuming I took a 15 frames per second and turned it into 5, right? Then it's not gonna really affect you guys on your algorithm side. It's just gonna be like you're not gonna have all the original data, so you may have missed it, right? But you could potentially do something like that, and it would be fine.
Yeah. So our algorithms start working even if you have 1 FPS in your video.
Yeah.
So, but when you compress the video by time, every time you have risk that in some frames you will have license plates that you are looking for. So this is a risk when you compress this.
And on this slide, last time Sergey and I talked about like, you know, it would be great to have NX as a selection that you could import cameras from instead of having to input each RTSP stream from the cameras. We talked about what, like, there could be an advantage to pull an RTSP stream straight from a camera as opposed to from the VMS, because if the VMS has an issue, then maybe the LPR still continues to work, right? So there is a benefit to doing it that way, but it depends on the age of your cameras. If you have newer cameras that are generally have CPUs that are more built for like apps and app stores and stuff like that, then it's fine to pull multiple streams from that camera because it's designed for that. But if you have an older kind of generation camera, maybe not the best idea to overload the camera with sending RTSP streams to different locations. So it really depends on your kind of the hardware you have in place on which approach you should take. And we also talked about the metadata SDK and the fact that these guys, like most of our Works to the Next partners, the first integration they do is like the minimum viable product, right? The MVP. And like they just want to get some integration going to see how it works. And so these guys are also looking at the metadata SDK for the kind of next iteration of the integration. So.
Yeah, and this is our, I think, next information which I was going to tell you about, but nevertheless, thank you. Here on this slide, I just want to show how recognition results looks like in NumberOk. So you have in NumberOk you have menu with results, and you could see all recognized license plate I think it is at the table, some simple table. You have a date and time of recognition. You have exactly recognized license plate, some cropped photo of license plate. When you pressing on it, then you could open full frame or full screenshot from the camera. Additionally, you could find here information about vehicle direction, some additional information about channel, it means video camera. So
Yeah.
NumberOk support multiple channels up to 36 on one server, and information about zone. So in NumberOk you could configure it up to 4 zones. So for example, you want to recognize license plate on the highway and you have at least 4 lanes on it, and you could create 4 separate zones for recognition, and then this recognized license plate will be divided by channel and specific zone.
Yeah. So
Yep.
you said 36 channels on a single machine. Now, what is the CPU and RAM requirements for that machine?
So in this case, at least you will need to use some Intel Xeon E5 processor. So processor should be powerful. For simple calculation, for very simple calculation, you need to understand that one video channel for analytic should use one physical CPU core with 2 threads. So
Yeah.
for example, if you want to use 36 channel of recognition simultaneously, then you should choose CPU which have at least 36 cores with 2 threads.
So one core, one camera.
Yep.
Okay.
Why? Because we claim that we recognize license plate on the speed up to 150 kilometers. So to achieve this parameter, you need to use recommended hardware. But
Do you
yeah,
have like a calculator for people when they're building a project? Like, do you have like some inputs you have that will give you an indication of which type of CPU you need for how many channels?
No calculator, but we could provide. We have a file with recommendation, with hardware
Okay.
recommendations for each version. So yeah, and
So
these
there's-
recommendations is calculated for hardest condition of work. So if we claim something, maximum recognition speed and something like this, so yeah, all our recommendation is to the hardest conditions. For example, yeah, for the one channel and for some parking solution, when vehicles move on the speed not more than 5 miles per hour, yeah, it will be enough to use some Intel Pentium or Celeron, something like this.
For a single camera.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
it's not a problem. We could share with our participants these recommendations about hardware.
So it just depends basically on what your use case is. If you've got a parking gate where everybody's stopping for like a few seconds, you could probably put more cameras on a lower power CPU and be fine, right? It
Yep.
just depends on the number of frames that or the speed that you're getting is probably the highest determining factor, like, and then the number of frames that you're actually processing per second is my guess.
No, we do not limit this parameter. So
No, I know, but I mean, like, if I'm giving you a 5 frames per second 1080p stream, it's a lot different than I'm giving you a 60 frames per second 4K stream.
yes, you're absolutely right. So for example, camera with 5 FPS will be not enough to catch the vehicle on the speed more than 100 miles per hour.
Right.
So yeah.
So like, that's what I'm saying. The frame rate is really your primarily the frame rate and resolution are going to be the two things that are going to impact the CPU you need in order to process this, right?
Yeah. You're absolutely right. Yeah.
Cool.
Yep, the next feature of NumberOk. So you have report tab, which allow you to generate some specific reports. In NumberOk, we provide users possibility to create specific report by time. Additionally, you could set up filters for country, for specific license plate, for specific video camera, and you could additionally choose the vehicle direction. And also you get all results as a table, and same as in results tab. You get recognized license plate, you get date and time, information about video camera on which it was recognized. You get information about vehicle direction, information about country and state, and some consolidated data with total quantity of vehicles which was recognized in specific camera. And yeah, all results could be exported to standard XLS file, so then users could deal with it on any other PC. And next slide show us how we do this integration with NX. In NumberOk settings, you need to choose integration and VMS tab. And here user need to choose generic event. So yeah, in NumberOk we send all recognized license plate as a generic event. So for sending this, you need to specify IP address of NX server. You need to specify TCP port for sending data. Also, you have possibility to choose if you want to use SSL connection or not, and you need to input credentials to NX client. So here, just an example, it was credentials for an administrator, but you could create some test user with some limited rights, but nevertheless, you need to put credentials to connect the NX client. And that's all. You press that button and we start sending the data to an X client.
So we talked about last time, there's no rules engine that you can really say, if this happens, then do this. Right now, it's every single event that you've configured inside of NumberOk is going to be pushed to NX, and NX, powered by NX user can take that information, create a rule with it to do whatever they want, right?
Yeah, yeah. But generally, we have this rules engine, but for this moment, we haven't add rule sending data to an NX witness as a separate rule. So, but we have plans to update our we call it reactions engines. Yeah, so in nearest future, we plan to add simple reaction only when specific parameters will appear, only then send data to an NX desktop client.
That reaction engine. Yeah. Everybody calls it a rules or an events engine. Reactions is a good.
Yeah. In NumberOk, all the names are a little bit different. For example, video cameras or video channels, we call just a simple channel. So for example, users very often call list, for example, allowed or banned vehicles. Yeah, but in NumberOk we call it groups. So every time names a little bit
as long different. As you can explain it clearly, it makes it easier. That's what matters. Yeah.
Yep, and on this step I prepared some screenshots how result of all of this integration looks in NX Witness. So you know that you have a lot of possibility to configure rules for generic events in NX Witness interface. Yeah, I will just show an example how it looks when it works with NumberOk together. So I was set up as a rule to show overlay on video channel. So when recognized license plate is received by an NX desktop client, it's shown on live video channel. You could see that this information was come from NumberOk, and we specified the recognized license plate. So yeah, and all generic events are available in event tab. So honestly, you also get information about date and time when this license plate was recognized. Also, additionally, you could set up as a rule to put a bookmark when generic event appear. So yeah, all recognized license plate will be available on your video archive. And here you will have video confirmation that this vehicle was really appeared there, and operator could see by his own eyes in video archive that yeah, this license plate was there on that vehicle directly. And let me show some video. I prepared additionally video which demonstrate how it works together with NumberOk. So I just recorded my copy of Phoenix desktop client, and now I show that here in right bottom corner we get all recognized license plate in live mode as a overlay text. Yeah, all recognized license plate also is shown here in notifications tab. So all good possibilities of Phoenix Witness desktop client are available here. Now I'm just demonstrating that you could put additional bookmark to recognize license plate. So everything very simple and useful. Also, I want to demonstrate you how it looks like in video archive. So I just open the part of the video which demonstrates us that all recognized license plate are also available in NX Witness video archive. And
It's actually in the bookmarks list. Yeah, if you just do a Control B to bookmarks, yeah, you can actually search for those license plates as well, right?
yep, you're absolutely right. So here for our participants, I just show 3 simple rules which I create in a few seconds, and all information was available in VMS.
Most of the guys downstream from us, they understand how a generic event works and then the follow-up rules to it, right? Inside of NX. But yeah, these are good examples. You might want to show a text overlay. You might want to change a camera. You might want to do a bookmark. You might want to trigger a third-party system with an HTTP request out to a different system, right? There's a lot of different options there for sure.
Yeah, an additional option when you're using event rule for bookmarks, then in NX desktop client you have bookmark log. So for example, you could use it to find some specific license plate. Yeah, so we put into the when we are using generic event for sending the data from NumberOk, as a name we put exactly recognized license plate. So you could search in bookmark log specific license plate. So we provide for user this possibility, and user also could specify only a part of the number. Even it's not needed to input the whole license plate for search, but just a part of the number, and you will find all of these events in NX desktop client, and user will be available to see video archive of this event. So it's just a small part of integration, but provide you a huge possibility how to use it. Yeah, and I think the next steps will be a more deep integration. Yeah, to add some additional possibility for users.
For sure. You need to get the metadata SDK level integration up, because then this all becomes very, very simple. No rules configuration required. Everything's just activate the plugin on any camera you want, right? And then have it automatically send that information to you guys. Not only that, it'll make your with our metadata SDK, you guys can actually optimize the integration so that if there's no, you can do a vehicle pre-detector. If there's no vehicle, there's no license plate.
Yep.
Right? So I don't need to analyze these frames, but as soon as I see a vehicle, okay, send these frames to NumberOk, and then recognize the plate and send it back. So your calculations are going to be much, much smaller, so you can run much more efficiently on the same box potentially as us, or maybe even in the same camera as us, right? And then those results are automatically going to be pulled into the metadata object database, and then they're going to be not only searchable, but also seen on the playback, right? So like, you know, you could even look for, you can even tie together make, model, like you guys are doing right now, and color. You could add that as an extra bit onto the system, so that I could search for a black car with a license plate that starts with these 3 numbers, because hey, that's what was reported to the police, right? So,
Yeah.
you know, we're looking forward to see that metadata SDK integration for sure.
Yeah, and I think we will. So we will
Yeah.
show this.
Cool. What
And
else? Other
yep,
than a lot of license plates on the back, do you collect license plates, Sergey?
honestly, we was use that license plate when we start to teach our recognition algorithm, but when it's already completed, I need to decide what I should to do with it. So I decorate my wall at my
That's
office
cool.
with that license plates. Yeah.
How long does it take to train your algorithm on a new country?
It differs. It differs for many reasons. Because, for example, just imagine we want to add some new country from Africa, for example.
Yes.
And big problem here, how to collect database of
Yep.
license plate. So
But
it's different for.
assume the same. Assuming that you get optimal data sets, right?
So it could take us from 2 weeks up to 2 months, for example.
2 weeks to 2 months, depending on what the complexity of the license plate itself,
Yeah.
and like
Yeah.
whether or not it reflects light different ways, because it's like either like it's not, you know what I mean? It's like a dark color with a dark color on it versus like a, it seems like to me the neural network stuff is really dependent on just like a human, right? The more complex the license plate is and the more there's back colors and stuff like that, the harder it is for a human to learn to recognize that thing quickly, right? And the same thing goes for neural networks. The more you'd have to really practice to get good at recognizing license plate, right? And if the license plate itself is more complex or it's smaller or whatever else, then that the machine's going to have the same different types of structure or struggle with it. And part of it is because the humans have to recognize it first and give it to it, and then the other part of it is you just have to run more. You have to go through more convolutions in order to get the right results out of that neural network, right? So.
Yeah, if you already asked me about adding new countries, this is a very interesting theme, because honestly, we have a lot of work on backend. Yeah, NumberOk, it's just a result of our work, some application which already completed. But for example, I have a very short video. We create our own, I think, language which described of rules how license plate is created. For this moment, we described almost, I think, 80% of all possible combinations of license plate in the world. And this video just an example how we use synthetic data. So first of all, we create some language which allows us to describe all rules. Then we create some tools which allows us to create, we know all rules, and then we could create some synthetic data by these rules. And this video demonstrates how we use this synthetic data. So we could put some
Different
synthetic different
Yeah.
license plate to any conditions. For this moment, we could put it even to the video, not only for the frames with cars, and simulate different conditions, bad light conditions, some fog, etc. And I think this year it will also very help us to improve quality of recognition, and will allow us to decrease time for studying or for adding new
That's a
country.
super interesting approach. I saw that because you had like the license plate images, right, in your results, but then you have the actual snapshot of the license plate image, and I'm like, how do they get that from that? Are they generating that? And like based on what you just showed me, I guess you're generating what it should look like, and then here's what
Yep.
it looks right?
Yeah.
So
So
theoretically, and this is just a question for you, you could implement a privacy filter on license plates for people watching that would replace license plates with other license plates so that you keep the vehicle like anonymous, right? You could anonymize the vehicles, right? So for viewers, they're not able to abuse like public, let's say like a company's security system. They're not able to spy on like their neighbor or whatever, and or maybe there's a stalker who's trying to like follow someone. You could potentially help companies create a privacy shield solution that would replace license plates with fake license plates that aren't anybody's license plates, right?
yeah, it's a good idea for a new product, I think.
You're
We
welcome.
already have technology.
You're welcome. Sergey,
Yeah.
send me a check in the future.
Okay. Got it.
All right, that's cool, man. I really like that. That's interesting. What else you
Yeah,
got?
we have a very huge, I think, technical experience in recognizing license plate and make and model. So soon it will be available for United States. So yeah, if our participants will have any questions about LPR recognition, we will be glad to help and answer the questions.
Yeah. So
And
how do people contact you guys if they're interested in learning more about NumberOk from FF Group?
yep, just the last slide of our presentation. So here our participants could see my email, Timothy email, and email of Nina Osipova. She's our business development manager. So yeah, please our contacts here. Just mail us, and we'll be glad to share any information which is needed.
Yeah. So I think now with the second run, how are we on time? I can't see my clock right now.
Honestly, I also.
We're all right. We're about 40 minutes into this rendition of our presentation because we got to go halfway through it before we realized that the GoToWebinar did not start broadcast when we hit the button. So yeah, we're about 40 minutes in. That's a pretty good time frame for everybody. Like I said, this is NumberOk. Their integration is generic event based right now. They're going to work on the metadata SDK stuff. I think they're going to really enjoy it because it's going to make their product a lot more appealing to Powered by NX customers and also just way more powerful. So I'm looking forward to seeing what you guys do with the metadata SDK. But if you have a project that has license plate recognition needs and you're looking for something that's got some technical know-how behind it, I mean, you've seen this presentation. These guys obviously know what they're doing. We'll have to get them to do the tighter integration with us. But other than that, I mean, it's ready to go right now. So reach out to Sergey or Tim or Nina if you got any questions about it. And Sergey, thanks for walking me through that twice.
Yeah, thank you for your time, and thank you to all our participants.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you, guys.
Tim, you too. This is going to be up on YouTube, and then we'll put it on our website underneath the NumberOk Works with an X and post it on social media as well. So all you guys out there, when you see this, reach out to these guys. They got some interesting products.
Cool.
Thank you, guys.
Right.
You guys have a good evening, Sergey. Hope you're doing well. Kiev, Ukraine, a little bit dicey right now.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah.
But we keep calm and clean our weapons. So everything okay.
Yeah. Reach out if you need anything, man. Our guy Sergey is also in Kiev, Sergey Lazarchuk. So we're thinking about you guys. And thanks for the introduction, Sergey. Email me if you need anything, buddy. And I will talk to you guys later.
Yeah, thank you and have a nice day.
All right, guys.
Thanks, everybody.
Yeah.